It's all come down to this. Week 18, Saints, Falcons win to stay alive and then let the chips fall as they may. No one is friends in this one. When the coin is flipped, all bets are off. Can the Saints get a win over their division rivals when it matters the most? Get your popcorn ready because this is going to be a can't-miss showdown. Welcome into Saints Game Day Live alongside John DeShazer. I'm Erin Summers. Thank you so much for joining us for this one. We are looking forward to a great battle on the field, and it all goes down 12 o'clock on CBS. You can watch it there if you're not here in the Superdome. I know it's going to get really loud. Should be a fun environment. And to help with the win, Derek Carr is going to have to throw a lot of passing yards and a lot of touchdowns. That is our poll question of the day. You can scan the QR code on the bottom of the screen. How many passing yards do you think Saints quarterback Derek Carr is going to have? He's been averaging 250 over the last 4 games. So JD, are you going over or under that number?
I'm going to go under. I think the Falcons are going to force this team to win running the football. I don't think they're going to let them win in the passing game. And I don't think Derek Carr is going to get to the 250. I will be pleasantly, hopefully, wrong on this one, but I don't think it's going to get to the 250.
All right. Well, it hasn't required really much more than 250 for 3 of the last 4 wins for the Saints. They've been on a roll. They're going to need one last one here to stay alive in those playoff hopes. They do need, however, the Bucs to lose to Carolina if they want to take the division title. There are some playoff implications at play as well, so we'll kind of go into those wild card situations later in the show. We'll get into our countdown to kickoff now, presented by Little Caesars. Offensively, the Saints have been improving. Definitely seems like chemistry has started to develop. Things are clicking on the offensive side with Carr, his receivers. He's really using his tight ends. Juwan Johnson has had a receiving touchdown in 1 in each of the 3 games prior. So what is it going to take in this one to kind of continue that positive momentum?
Well, they've been great in the red zone lately. They went 0 for 5 in the red zone in Atlanta, and that took them to 17 for 40 in the season. In the last 4 games, they've been, since Atlanta, they've been 11 of 14 in the red zone. So they've been able to score in the red zone when they get close. A lot of that has been the efficiency in running the football, which we think that's going to be affected, obviously, by some absences today. But they've been really good at running the football. They've been on point with the chemistry in terms of Derek Carr and the receivers in the red zone. You mentioned the 3 touchdowns to Juwan Johnson. He's had touchdowns to Jimmy Graham when he's available. He's had touchdowns to Chris Olave. So the wealth is being spread around. They're going to have to continue that. They got to get to the red zone because remember back in Atlanta, 2 red zone turnovers really flipped that game. One a 92-yard interception return. One Taysom Hill fumbled. They recovered at their own 5, and they drove 95 yards for a touchdown. That was the difference in that 24-15 game, basically.
Well, in the last 4 games, the Saints have only turned the ball over 1 time, so that is definitely another area that they've improved on. You mentioned the run game. It looks like we'll be without running back Alvin Kamara in this one as he's dealing with an ankle sprain. Who do you turn to?
Hey, well, you got Kendre Miller. That's what he's here for. He's going to be active in this game. You also have Jamal Williams. So those 2 guys will probably be your bell cows in this game. Jamal Williams had a really nice game against Tampa Bay. 19 carries, 58 yards. Not a lot of yards per carry, but he was able to control the clock with the offense. And then you get Kendre Miller, who we've been waiting for a long time this season. He missed the previous 7 games. He has missed, hadn't played a lot this season. He looks to be totally healthy right now, so he's going to have to contribute if you want to establish anything in the run game.
Kendre Miller was out of practice on Friday with an illness, but prior we saw him on the field and he was flying around, so really hope that he's ready to go for this one. On the defensive side of the ball, there's been a lot of improvement there as well. Against the Falcons, we allowed 228 rushing yards. Those are just on the ground. Since then, things have gotten better. The last 3 games, the Saints are averaging 83 yards allowed on the ground. How big of an emphasis does it need to be today?
Well, and in fact, 2 of the last 3 games allowed 60 or less. So they've really improved in that area. They're going to have to, because the Falcons want to run the ball. Make no mistake about it. They do not want to put the ball in the game in the hands of their quarterback. They want to run the football, and it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't try to run it another 40 times. You can only get to that number if you have the lead. So you got to keep them behind, and you got to force them into situations where they need to throw the football. The Saints have been playing very good gap integrity. They've been tackling well, which is huge because they didn't do that well in Atlanta. And if you can play good gap integrity and then get the guy on the ground, that's the main thing. You got to be able to tackle once you get there. The Falcons want to get their running backs in space. They want to have safeties and cornerbacks to have to tackle them. Those safeties and cornerbacks for the Saints have to get those guys on the ground. If they can do that, they can pretty much control Atlanta's offense.
The Saints have been phenomenal at home defensively. They're top 10 in scoring and in yards allowed through the air. It's going to be different today than what the Falcons have been dealing with, as they've been playing with quarterback Taylor Heineke the last 3 games today. They're going to be back with quarterback Desmond Ridder, and there's a big difference between the two. With Ridder, they're only averaging 17 points a game. Heineke was getting them up to 24, which is a big difference in the NFL. How much does Ridder change the game for the Falcons?
Well, Ridder was the quarterback of record when they won in Atlanta against the Saints. Now, Ridder is going to run the ball a little bit more. He gives them a little bit more of a run option at that quarterback position. Even though Heineke was mobile, Ridder, the better runner of the two. In fact, he's run 493 yards and 5 touchdowns this season. If you're the Saints, you've got to be able to collapse the pocket on him. You can't give him those creases to get out and to scramble. You don't fear him as much as a thrower, even though he's got some great weapons to throw too, but he threw 2 interceptions in Atlanta. They don't want him throwing the football a lot. They want him to probably throw it maybe 15 to 18 times. If the Saints can get him up in the 28, 29, 30 throw range, the Saints will have them exactly where they want him. But he's going to run the football, and he's going to add to that run game. So the Saints need to be able to keep him in the pocket when he does throw and get him on the ground.
While the Saints are so good defensively at home, the Falcons have been the opposite on the road. 30th in the league in points scored and 32nd, which is last in yards through the air. So hopefully the Saints can come out on top of that battle. How much of an impact do you think the crowd is going to have? Because this is a huge game, lots on the line, and it's a rivalry.
Saints need to jump ahead early. If they jump ahead early, then you force basically the crowd to get behind you. And this crowd is going to be so huge in this game. You can ride that momentum, you can ride that wave, and you can continue it going throughout the game, but you got to make sure you get ahead early. Now, you don't have to be there. I think it would just be a great thing to be there, because then you get the crowd in it early. You don't want the crowd to have to kind of warm into it. You certainly don't want the Falcons fans to be into it early. So you want to keep the crowd on your side if you're the Saints. They haven't been able to do that a lot at home this season. Let's see if they can do it in this game.
All right, well, you were able to catch up with head coach Dennis Allen earlier this weekend to get his thoughts on this matchup. Let's check it out.
Coach, obviously a team likes to be playing its best down the stretch of the season. Your team is playing its best down the stretch of the season. What have you seen happening these last 4 games?
Yeah, look, I just think our guys have had great focus, great intensity. They've had really good weeks of practice, and I think our guys are just excited about the opportunity to compete in this league, and you never want to take any of those for granted, and I think our guys have done that.
Speaking of the last 4 games, Derek Carr, 73% completion, 1,010 yards, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, playing his best of the season. What has he improved on going down the stretch?
Yeah, look, I just think it's been a process of continuing to get better every single week. I think, number one, I think he's fully healthy now, and I think we're seeing the type of player that he can be. And it's not just him, though. It's everybody that's around him that stepped up his game. I mean, I think the receivers, the tight ends, the runners, the protection's been much better. So this game is not ever played by one person, and you need all 11 out there. That's why it's the ultimate team game. But certainly he's playing good football right now.
You know exactly what the Falcons want to do on offense. They want to run the football. They ran for 228 yards the first time. What do you do to combat that?
Well, look, we have to win the line of scrimmage. That's the number one thing. We've got to be able to win the line of scrimmage and do a great job of getting 11 guys to the ball and do a great job of tackling. But again, it's a team game, and so one of the best ways to eliminate the run game is to get out to a lead. And so I think that's been part of our focus this week, is for us to win this game as a team, we got to understand how they want to play it, and we need to start fast.
Regular season home finale against the Falcons. How important is it to get the Dome crowd involved? Because obviously this is a huge game.
Yeah, look, I mean, our crowd is the best in the business when we're playing the type of football that we're capable of playing. And so we got to go out there and play really well, start fast, and put a good product on the field for our fans. And our fans will get excited and they'll be behind us.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
In this week's Community Coffee Player Profile, we saved the best one for last. Aaron caught up with linebacker Demario Davis to find out what's brewing with Demario, the superstar linebacker.
Welcome to What's Brewing, presented by Community Coffee. I'm Aaron Summers alongside linebacker Demario Davis. Demario, last week against Tampa Bay, defensively you guys forced 4 turnovers, fumble recovery by you, and a 20-yard return. Tyrann Mathieu said that it was the best play of the day. What was going in through your mind during that moment?
Well, I mean, we had been doing a good job of stopping the run before that play happened, and then I think that drive they had hit like a couple, and that was another play that was looking like it was about to spring free. And so I was a little frustrated. Honestly, I was like, it done hit another play. I didn't know where he hit at, and so I was just running to the ball, and then J.A. made a great play of punching the ball out. I don't even know how he got around him and hit it back into the field, and I just saw the ball. So I grabbed it, and it was initially just to cover the ball up because I thought there was people around, but I realized I had a little space, and at that point I was just trying to score a touchdown.
You didn't have space, you were running people over.
Yeah, I got a lot of props. I think it's a little running back genetics that's in there from back in the day. I mean, I've been playing this game for 12 years and I ain't got no touchdown yet. So, like, I want a defensive touchdown. So I was really trying to get there. So I think anytime I get the ball, that's what's on my mind. Like, I gotta score.
Okay, yeah, you've been playing for 12 years. You have 112 tackles already. How do you continue to just elevate your game each season?
Honestly, I think like the biggest part is God. I feel like I can't really put it into words for people to explain. Because at one point I was ready to retire, and I think it's been God that's just really been pioneering me and pushing me forward. But I got an excellent team. I got a lot of people around me who like help me keep my body up. They help me eat the right things. Like we plan out the whole season before the season starts, and even during the season, like we're constantly tweaking the plan, tweaking the process. And so I think it goes a lot into how I customize so that I can get optimal performance over and over and over. And hopefully I can just keep doing that.
Do you plan out your pregame fits before the season too?
Not before. I mean, I try to leave a little space week to week, but I do try to follow like certain trends. I think the guy that I work with who does my suits, he's the best in the business. He really is paying attention to all the details, and I think people see it on on a macro level, but like if you really look at it on a micro level, it's a lot of details that's in there, and that's where it's really at. It's all in the detail.
Before every game, you do the pregame huddle, the speech with all the guys. What goes into that? Where did it start?
Man, I've always just been a talker when I was a little kid. You know, people told me I talk too much. When I first got here, I saw Drew doing the huddle, and I saw how sacred it was. And so I really, just from a distance, enjoyed it. But when he got hurt one week and he asked me to do it, and I just take it so seriously. I just always wanted to honor that space, honor it for my teammates, honor it for the organization, honor it for the city. And so it's like a lot of meditation that goes into it. It's like preparing a sermon, because I'm spiritually trying to get my teammates in a place that mentally they're locked in with the game, but also to like exhort them and get them excited and get them pumped up and understand who they are and who we are. So it's just a lot going into that process.
What's it going to take week 18, last game of the regular season against the Falcons, a team that beat you guys earlier this year?
I think you just got to find that switch. You got to find the switch. Mentally, you have to have that thing that takes you into another space, takes you into another dimension. You know, you put the preparation in, but when you step on the field, you have to have something that brings that intensity to another level that they can't keep up with or match. And I think anytime you're playing a rival, it's always there. But also when that rival beats you, it's an opportunity to go and get your lick back.
Right.
And so, like, that's what you got to have.
Hopefully we can do that this weekend.
Yeah, we got to.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much for joining me.
I appreciate you.
For What's Brewing with Demario Davis. I know we always look forward to seeing Demario Davis's pregame speeches. He definitely gets them hyped. Hopefully he had a really good one for them today because he's definitely going to need it. Let's check out our list of inactives presented by Louisiana Cat. As we mentioned, we know that running back Alvin Kamara is going to be out for this one. Also safety Lonnie Johnson Jr., offensive tackle Landon Young, also both dealing with injuries there. And then you have quarterback Jake Hayner, defensive end Kyle Phillips, and wide receiver Keith Kirkwood, who are your healthy scratches. One person that's not on the list is defensive end Peyton Turner, because he is active and going to play today. How much are you looking forward to seeing him get back on the field?
Well, finally getting back, and it's good to have him at the defensive end rotation. They've had some production there from Carl Granderson. It's had some late production there from also linebacker Zach Vaughn. But to get him back in that rotation, just to get his feet wet, he's missed a ton of this season. He needs to be on the field, obviously. He's a first-round draft pick, and the Saints still don't necessarily know what they have in him. So this is a good showing for him. Today would go a long way, and then obviously, hopefully, get totally healthy into the offseason and get prepared for the next season. But just good to get him back on the field.
Yeah, I know he was really excited going into the season because he felt like he was prepared and ready to make that leap, and then obviously gets injured in that first game against the Titans. So good to have him back for this one at least. It's been a fun season. The fans have showed out every single game, and I know they are going to again today. So let's take a look at some of our best of black and gold roll calls from throughout the season, presented by Bud Light.
From England, originally outside of Manchester. Cam Jordan is a beast. Like every single day, every single week he comes in and missed one game. Like that's legend status.
Jason Henderson and Lindsey Henderson from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Saints fan since I was 10 years old. We're predicting the Saints to win today 34-20.
Cody and Kaylin. We're from North Dakota. I got 24-10 Saints win. Go Saints.
John Vincent.
Lana Nolan.
Rhett Petarski.
And we're all coming from Cumberland, Wisconsin.
I think it's 28-14 Saints dub. Marshawn gets a pick second quarter.
Jay, downtown New Orleans, 9 Ward to be exact. Probably like a 3-5 Ron Eagle stand up. You already know what's down with it. Go, let's get it.
Hi, I'm Brett Davis, and this is my son, Aiden Davis, and these are some punks we picked up along the way. We're from Larnburg, North Carolina, and we're expecting the Saints to win tonight at least by 2 touchdowns.
Deshaun Burtis from Dash, Louisiana. Allison Winston from Baton, Louisiana. Go Saints!
Hey, we're the Moors.
And we're the Dufors all the way from Canada, celebrating our 1-year anniversary. Thank you!
Yes, sir.
Go Saints!
Go Saints! So, my name is Andrew. I come from Montreal. My game prediction is 24-21 for the Saints. Go Saints!
I'm from the 7th Ward, New Orleans. My game predictions is 24-10 Saints. Offense gets the ball moving. Derek Carr gets it going. We get some protection.
My name is Alex. I'm from here in New England. My game prediction, say 28-3. Go Saints.
Always good to see the fans show out, the energy that they bring, and looking forward to the environment that we're going to have here today. Earlier in the show, we talked about the poll question of the day. How many passing yards do we think quarterback Derek Carr is going to have? And based on the poll results, you guys are going between 200 and 300 passing yards. 50% of the votes coming in there. Some people, though, the next highest category is over 300. So I don't know. We'll see if he got some deep balls in him today and picks up a lot of yardage. That would definitely be fun. We also have the 50-50 raffle. The Falcons and the Saints are combining efforts for this one to help tackle ALS, Team Gleason and Tim Green. So if you go to saints5050raffle.com, you can buy some raffle tickets and possibly win that total. I think is at a little over $16,000, so you get half of that. So yeah, throw some more money at them, raise that up a little bit. It's for charity, and then yeah, you could end up with a huge pot at the end of it. So that would be a really nice thing to take away from Week 18 along with a W. We mentioned there are some wild card implications at hand as well. Of course, here you got to get the win first. The Bucs could lose to the Panthers, which would give us the NFC South title. Or if that doesn't happen, we're keeping an eye on 2 games in the 325 slot. Green Bay against the Bears. We need a Green Bay loss there and a Seattle loss to the Cardinals. So I don't know, it's going to be a tough one. JD, what do you think?
Just win, baby. Al Davis, just win. That's the only thing that matters. Everything else is periphery because you can't count on anybody else doing anything for you. The only thing you can handle is winning your game, and then hopefully all the chips you need to fall in your way will fall your way. But nothing matters if you don't win. If you don't win, it doesn't matter who else loses. So they got to take care of their own business first, and then hope to get some help, but handle your own business.
Hey, I like it. Got to take care of this one first, get a little redemption for Week 12. Thank you so much for joining us on our Saints pregame show alongside John DeShazer. I'm Erin Summers. We'll be back right here after the game on NewOrleansSaints.com for a postgame show alongside former linebacker, Super Bowl champ Scott Shanley. Enjoy the game, Saints fans.